Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready here with the third map. First series of the day here at the second day of the CAC. Should be a really good time. Heroic and MVP, they've sort of been just rocking separate maps. First map going 16-6 in favor of Heroic, now 16-6 on the second map in favor of MVP. And now we're going to be on Train, and it looks like they're going to be doing the knife round first. You never really know, but this time it will be. And Train, you said you had bad memories of MVP playing this map. Do you remember exactly what your concern was?
Well, the fact that he didn't know how to play it.
That's a big concern.
Yeah. Obviously, like, again, the last time I got to see extended play from MVP on that map was probably around a year ago. So you imagine that they would have made changes to it, but judging from their recent results, in qualifiers and whatnot, they've played, within the Southeast Asia region. They haven't done well with results on Train either. And that is a bit of a worrying sign. I think also you add into the fact that Heroic are actually a really, really good Train team.
Yeah.
That might be obviously a little bit different now that Snappy's gone and Yugi's gone, but they've still, even so, like with all the roster changes and all the turmoil that's been going on with the roster, they've been able to rack up like solid wins in Pro League and just beating much better opponents than whatever MVP is going up against on this map. So it has me worried significantly. And I mean, I think Solo as an Opera in the state he is right now is too inconsistent to necessarily be that dominating presence that would give you a lot of wiggle room to work with on a map like Train. So yeah, I have my fair share of worries, but apparently MVP themselves like the map a lot. Like they think Train is like something they can make their mainstay, and I think Sean touched on this during the desk, right? Like teams often fall into the trap of playing a map over and over again because they think they're really good at it. It's going really well in practice, but when you bring it out into officials, you just get continuously smashed. And at that point, you need someone to just grab a hold of you and tell them to just stay away from it.
Sounds like the sort of point Sean would make, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Never happened to his own teams, of course.
Never. Let's see how this all plays out. They're going to be playing on the CT side for MVP. It's been a slow setup in this round. Both teams just pretty much standing still for the first, minute of this round so far. Going to be some good grenades landing in long range here to try and see if they get down. They bait out one HE grenade, and there's 3 people on this B bomb site, and that might be a problem. Solo and Seth are holding out of the A yard, and they could run into a lot of trouble. Freiburg already getting a bit close. Solo going to get shut down. Beautiful headshot from Freiburg, and now flanking around his S-tag to take down Seth and MVP. They just did not look ready for this. Modi going to be picking off Sinus. He was stumbling down the ladder, and Glow and Mini Setup don't know if they could do much to get back into this round. It would have to be some great headshots, and Glow's actually been playing pretty well, but this is just too much of an ask, and as you can tell, so many angles trying to retake this A bomb site. And it will be Heroic picking up the pistol. Yeah,
and what you mentioned there at the tail end, the fact that there's so many angles that you need to clear out in yard for you to have a successful retake. I'm surprised that they go for the 3-man stuck on the inner bomb site. They did have smokes and whatnot. They had diffuse kits. I think you're way better off setting up with a potential 1-man defense on the inner bomb site and play for a retake there. Worst case scenario, you can always drop a smoke down at the bomb train, go for a diffuse. Like that's been probably almost more on Train than any other maps extremely successful, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really see the thought process behind their decision to stack that inner bomb site unless they've looked through a lot of Heroic demos and specifically thought that was what's about to happen.
Yeah, that could be the explanation. I mean, those are the sort of things that are very hard to know when you're sort of watching the game from the outside. Is exactly what is it that leads to some of the decisions, and
yeah,
they could have had that kind of well, at least thought they had that kind of a read. Nico somehow staying alive out here. I mean, he took all of this damage pretty much in the first engagement, and he got 2 kills afterwards, so that's a great job. He's going to stay alive with the... Actually, he's going to even swap out for the AK that was dropped out there, so even better. 3 kills. We got the AK back in the hands of Heroic, and MVP will have to save another round.
Yeah. So I feel like, obviously, now that they're going to have to go into this with... no investment at all. It's going to be a clear-cut round for Heroic that'll get to that 3-0 start. So at least shaking off some of the cobwebs that started to form during Cash, because they didn't really get a whole lot of opportunity to play a competitive map there. But I'm worried for MVP though. I don't really know what their approach is going to be. If they're going to rely heavily on early rotations, if it's going to be basically like gamble stacks for their CT sides, or if they actually have some planned aggression. If they have if they have worked into their game, you know, setting up for aggressive pushes through Ivy with pop flashes and whatnot, then that's great. You'd love to see it, but I'll reserve my optimism until I can actually get some confirmation on it, at least.
Well, they briefly got their hands on the Galil, but I think Heroic is so set on the idea of hunting down these remaining players, even though the round was pretty much won a couple of, well, like 10 seconds ago. It's still a bit of a hunt going on.
Well, for Nico, it kind of makes sense. He's got an SMG still.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily put Esatag or Freiburg in a position where they could potentially drop an AK and let Solo sneak away with one.
They just don't know where to find him, so can he get anything to pick up here? I'm not sure if he's going to be found in the last second. That's a little bit frustrating.
Freiburg knows. He's aware. We saw that on Mirage as well. He just has an inkling that something's lurking around the corner. And well, first buy round coming in. They're going to go straight through the op on Solo. That means he's not going to have any utility to work with. It's just like Kevlar. Not that that matters all that much. The only thing where it could come into play is the MP7 of Nico. Otherwise, the AK is going to be perfectly fine and dealing with head armor as well. I'm actually surprised to see Sign going up to head armor instead of getting any sort of utility at all. But this is a massive issue for MVP. Like, Heroic can slow play this so easily. And even if they decided not to, like, how do you set up a retake for MVP with the utility you have left? We're 20 seconds into the round and you have 2 smokes and a molly. Well, 3 smokes and a molly, and that's all you have. No flashes to actually get you closer to any sort of bomb trains or clear corners.
I mean, having a smoke for some eventual defuse is pretty much important on all maps, but I think there are some maps where it's much more critical. I think Train and Nuke are maybe the really big ones where you must have that one smoke so that you can cover yourself while defusing. Seth is going to get the big opening kill. Oh, mini setup picking up a couple, and Solo getting the kill almost with the turnaround. Modi doing a bit of damage towards the end, but that's a way to just circumvent the whole defuse problem.
Yeah, never let them plan.
Yeah, just kill them before they get into the side.
I think we're onto something here. Really well done by Mini Zeta there. Getting into things early on, that's good to see on Solo. Even though it only picks off 1 kill there, manages to salvage the off after he goes down. Get some money saved at least, and they do get actually a pretty decent buy. A lot more utility this time around than what they had going into the first buy round. So even though they do have a FAMAS on Seth, I'd say they're better off buy-wise.
It's actually double stack going into Top Dog. I'd say that might be a little bit dangerous. Great flash bang from a teammate, but they just hold down Mouse 1. You know what, that works.
I love the fact that Sign is the one who was actually flashed. The teammate behind him managed to dodge it. That's the entire intent of the setup, but it's still Sign getting both kills.
Why not? So Heroic with absolutely 0 impact in the last couple of rounds here. As soon as MVP picked up rifles, it's been quite of a different story. And that has got to change. Freiburg and Nico right now, they need to get like 3 kills in this round. Good job down, but Seth is again ready for it.
5 and 11 HP on the 2 players holding pop. That's rough for Heroic. That could have been the opening for them earlier on in the round.
Did you see the Molotov that Big was throwing?
The one that lands on the outside?
It gets thrown from the T container and it lands in Pop Dog. They boost on the T container to Molotov Pop Dog from like all the way across the A yard.
I haven't seen that.
It's so beautiful, but I'm not even surprised. I've said this so many times. Gobi is an absolute genius.
Oh, he definitely is. I've seen the alternate one where you put one down outside of public so they can never leave.
Yeah.
And then you basically fill the place with flashes.
So that's the way that people normally do it, but that's from the hallways, right? So no, but this is the other way. And I think Legia is also someone who does a lot of work.
I would imagine so. Now he's another coach of Big, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if he's again just playing with Gob. You probably pick up a couple of ways of how you approach the game or how you look at the game, right?
I think he definitely has, but I think this is something that most people don't. Legia actually spends an enormous amount of time sort of coming up with grenades. Like, he's super active in that sense. I talk to him on a regular basis about all these things, but he's very, very good at that. Probably will never be recognized in the way that maybe he should for coming up with some of these things, but he's quite good at it.
Glow.
Yeah, this is very aggressive. They do have C-sets on the other side, but the MP7, it's just, or sorry, the MP9 just works so well. No problems at all.
Well, gets out of there with half HP. Doesn't want to overstay his welcome. That's nice to see as well. Bomb drop. They've got plenty of information. They've already shut down whatever aggression that was intended for Pop Dog initially, so MVP feeling pretty good about themselves right now. Still, some utility to work with here on Heroic. They might pretty much just go all in on an inner bomb site plant, but Solo already rotated over towards inner.
Yeah, that's gonna pretty much kill the dream, isn't it?
So does make it very hard.
I feel like for Heroic, it's not even that they lost a couple of rounds here. It's more the fashion in which they did it.
It's pretty one-sided.
Yeah, the fact that they weren't able to get many kills, the fact that MVP's economy is going to have built up significantly. I mean, normally it takes a while before you get up to people having like 6,000 on, or like even close to.
Yeah.
This is pretty impressive. So
Post-buying,
tied up the scoreline.
Yeah, like after a buy, still sitting at over 3K on 4 players. It's a pretty good job for MVP in that sense. So they can still afford to rebuy even if they were to lose this following round. But Heroic's buys are getting weaker and weaker as well. Like this is nothing compared to what they had going into the first or second buy round. A lot less utility to speak of. No op in the hands of S's Tag yet, or Madi for that matter. I'll see what they'll be able to muster up again, though. Aggression? Oh, well, feigned aggression at least from MVP.
Rubino wanted to follow it up. He saw the weakness, but wasn't ready for a second player. So
Zine, he's stuck. Or he was stuck at least. Somehow makes it out of there with 19 HP. Got the trade frag from Zeph and Popdog.
That smoke in main probably helped him out a lot.
Yeah.
Because otherwise Nico probably would have been holding him in from the other angle. So there's something to work with. They're really, really far back on the B-bomb side. You can't blame Glow too much. He's playing alone there, so he just wants to see if he can get a long-range shot on somebody and even it out for the retake. But the problem is if the bomb goes down and no damage is taken by Heroic, they actually have a really good shot at doing this. And look at this sneak up the sidewalk. This is beautiful.
This is definitely going to catch MVP off guard. Oh, Zine is just playing with death right now. Oh, Madi still gets the kill.
That's so big. Glow ready for the second as well. I can't believe they've turned this in their favor. MVP, Heroic, once you get that deep in, should be your round. Nico now going to fall back to the high ground. He does have a Molotov, and they don't have any smokes picked up right now. This could be one of those soul-crushing moments that we always love to see on Train, but it's obviously hard if you're playing on the MVP side. How do you stop this from happening? He's waiting and listening for the sign of anyone defusing. Glow does not have a kit either, which means, oh, well, that's going to be straight the end, isn't it? Sign has the kit, and he can't obviously drop it to his teammate. Otherwise, you actually can go for the full defuse. One good kill, and Nico following it up. No problems at all. Beautifully played for him. Just, this is a technical detail, but if the 100 HP player has the kit, if you get on the bomb and hold it down for like 1 second, if they throw the Molotov afterwards, you can just keep defusing. Yeah. And you're going to get the defuse. So that's obviously worth knowing. It didn't matter because that just wasn't the case. So 4-3, 8th round coming up in Heroic. They should have won that round more cleanly. Yeah. But they won it anyway, so Nico just probably someone's gonna have to buy him a drink later on.
At least a pat on the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, could very easily swing in both favors though. With Madi pushing that far up, he could have, like, he gets dinked by Glow on higher, but then manages to take out the rotation and connector. And I think that player on MVP had a smoke still in his hands. And obviously Sign just dodging death. He ran all the way over towards the Ivy before they were able to set up for the retake as well. Alright, Zeph. He knows his other smoke, but gets stuck in something?
Did it?
It looked like he was trying to backpedal out, but I'm not sure if he got caught on one of the edges.
I don't think he was ready for it. The smoke only took out half the Molotov.
Is that what happened?
Like, yeah, I think he burned to the Molotov, didn't he? Or was it a grenade follow-up? I'm so confused. Because that shouldn't be happening at all, should it?
No. Molotov interactions do have some interesting outcomes, that we know for sure.
Maybe we can get a replay. Can we get that? That would be fucking amazing.
Yeah, that would be really good. Well, though, he's going to do amazing things, at least finding Rubino to start things off, and the rotations have already come in, so they're going to prevent at least some parts of the inner bomb site from being pushed, but Freiburg's already up and close behind the smoke. This is how you want to play it.
S-Tag going down right away.
Freiburg actually selling out Madi.
Yeah, they're so confused. They had everything going on down to the low ground, but now Nico's going to be running in, looking for the kill on one. He actually makes it back around. It's so hard to peek this angle. He's going to get shot at the back door any second now, and he just didn't stand a chance. With the smoke as well for the defuse, and MVP going to be able to pick it up 4-on-4.
So if Nico's getting a pat on the back for the last round, I think Freiburg's getting a slap in the face from Madi for that one. Because Madi lets 2 players pass, as they move up by the first train, or one train, and Freiburg with an MP7 from Connector tries to go for the duel. And that's what alerts the second player from MVP to turn around and gets a double kill.
So confused about that whole Molotov situation where it popped up.
Yeah.
I'd really love to see that again at some point, just because theoretically you should just be extinguishing the whole Molotov, but maybe we got it wrong.
Such as CS at times.
So 4-4, I mean, considering that Heroic are playing on the T side, they're probably happy having 4 rounds at the moment. But I don't think they're very happy about the fact that their economy keeps being
reset.
Yeah, up and down, up and down. It's not great.
It definitely isn't now just straight up Glocks. They have one smoke on S attack, but what are they realistically going to be able to do off of this? You have 2 Deagles as well, I guess, but going to see the double drop into pop this time. Not a double setup from MVP. Much more of a passive approach. Who's going to get taken out as well, so they know at least 2 players were in Ivy. Finding a stag at the edges of the smoke as well, so people are just falling over on the side of Heroic here. Easy pickings for MVP. And a clean round. So while Heroic's economy is getting shattered time and time again, MVP, when they get the opportunity, they make the most out of it to bolster theirs. Even though they're not in a pristine situation by any means, they it does go a long way over the over the course of the half.
They keep having that buffer, right? I think that's the really important part. Is just all the time you're close enough that you can buy even if you lose a round.
Yeah.
So Heroic need consecutive rounds to really be able to have a great first half. Not that they've been doing badly, but they have pretty good grenades in this round, so should be interesting.
For right now, though. Again, some aggression coming on the inner bomb site from MVP. Let's see how far Solo decides to take it. Very unusual position to have an op, really. Especially with Glow kind of leaving him, deserting him on an island. If Solo misses this shot, or if somebody just, yeah, if S-Attack just walks forward, could be the end of it. And Glow is just completely vacated, actually, the B-bomb site. So this would be an open site for them. I mean, Zeta pulling with the turn. Oh, Solo actually missed the shot, but there's no follow-up.
Kind of impressed that, I mean, if he's right, if he goes down, that would have been
disastrous.
Yeah, really bad time. Mini Setter and Glow sort of having not a risk-free defense over here, and if Seth goes down, if one gets smoked off, you can see Glow is going to get smoked off now. Mini Setter getting Molotov back. If they were there to catch him, that would have been more or less perfect from Heroic.
Yeah.
A little bit surprised they didn't.
Well, they've been very tentative about what they want to do. Even though they dropped Zeph, who's been the one player playing or holding off Pop together with Design, they don't necessarily pounce on it. Such to just group up together and go towards that inner bomb site.
Oh, the timing.
Oh, God, yeah.
Solo
30 seconds left.
Going to put it down on the ramp. They sort of have to run through it. Large amount of damage. Solo picks up the kill. The timing on that Molotov is just so good, but he's going to go down anyway. S-Tag somehow finding it. Quick triple for him to close out the round. That's a very good sequence. In fact, it's a quad kill overall for him. That's a powerful round. But I mean, they didn't win it, but you shouldn't underestimate the power of being able to time those Molotovs perfectly. Oh yeah, and that was pretty much it.
You waste one smoke out of their utility that they probably would have liked to be able to push forward on the site later on. If nothing else, you can, again, use it to section yourself off. Just give yourself additional angles to work with, or more of a safe space to deal with the afterplan of them. And again, if Solo finds the pick on S-Attack, that allows for a free rotation to come in from MVP. He can still pressure the bomb. It's just a lot of small details, really, going in the favor of Heroic there. Even though they were a man up, MVP could have definitely swung that round back in their favor.
So this is now really interesting. Heroic have, again, another shot at getting a big lead suddenly in the first half.
Yeah, but this buffer you spoke of, though.
Yeah, but look at the, I mean, it can all work, right? The Max 7 can work, the MP7, or the MP9, sorry, and the FAMAS. They're functional, but
it's not optimal.
It's not optimal, is it?
But, you know, without that buffer, they would have had gone to the eco. I like the fact that Glow is taking this aggressively on the inner bomb site. They have been aggressive at multiple instances, but I think this could still pay off nicely, especially with how much focus Heroic's had on Molotoving out, smoking, flashing into Pop Dog. I think this is the right approach from MVP. Now they've seen the Mag 7, probably not expecting an off to be there for Solo, especially with the smoke coming down, the re-aggression.
mean, and when the smoke comes down, you're certainly not expecting that someone's going to be playing on this side of it. So a lot of tricks coming out, although Sign does almost get himself killed.
It's a very optimistic fight to take with an MP now. Probably hoping to see somebody close up.
Look at how worried Heroic are right now, or at least defensive. They're really not sure about what's happening.
Molotov's going out. Seth's going to go down, though, and Pop Dog, and that's a big anchor to remove. Glow's slowly inching forward, though. And I think this is going to depend on what kind of timing Glow finds to rotate around, because they've already rotated Solo off of the B-bomb site because they have all the information they need, really, to know that it's going to be an yard push. But as a tag, the crouching no-scope there onto Zine.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of information earlier about where he headed to. Mini setup, trying to see if he could do anything back here, but from us, tapping long range, not exactly ideal, and Heroic are going to get their way in this round, which should actually bring him in the lead, 6-5.
It's going to be really tough for Solo to hold on to this op as well. Heroic are fully aware of what his intent is. Well, he's going to get sandwiched from about 9 different angles in 2 seconds. There we go. So that's potentially another op for Heroic. They seem to be okay with Esatag holding on to the single one, though, for now.
Yeah, no problems for them in that regard. I mean, having 2 ops on T side, it can be done, but it's not always the most beneficial.
Yeah, it does limit your mobility quite a bit. You want the option of being able to rotate in between sites rather quickly.
It's round from Rubino, in fact, just very proactive.
Yeah, and so far we've seen MVP having a lot of struggles with holding off Pop. Obviously, there's a ton of utility being expended there from Heroic side, but ever since they went away from the double Pop setup, they haven't been able to stop the Scandinavian team from actually getting control of it. So wouldn't be surprised if we saw that coming back and the next Byron out of MVP.
No problems for Freiburg. Able to check that corner, and they should be in a perfect position here. I feel like Rubino is, like, he's one of those players, we've talked about it a couple of times, but like every roster change, he's somehow always the guy that
survives?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's the guy who gets sort of left behind on a team somewhere, where like some of the star players get removed and then he's sort of back there. And I think we talked about it as well, when he's sort of like putting 100% into the game, he does become just a very, very good player. But his life seems to work out in a way where it's like, there are different reasons at times where he can't do that. Like then he suddenly, like, you know, I'm not always sure what the problem is, but then he takes like a break and then he has to go do something else, and then he comes back and plays. But when he's playing at this level and he's got his mind really in the game, he's obviously like a super functional player.
Yeah, you definitely saw that in the old Dignitas lineups, and I guess early editions of North, right? Like what kind of player he could be. The fact that he's so versatile and able to fill most gaps that a team needs. Obviously, having no ego on him is obviously a massive thing as well. Yeah,
that was a great opening. The flashbang right in Seth's eyes. Mini setup. Can he do a bit more up here? The drop down, maybe Freiburg would have heard that. It seems like he certainly has. And Solo will be able to drop the bomb carrier. That's a big play, but Freiburg flanking around. And Glow will now be all on his own. Smoke is in, and he's going to try and see if he can beat the timing. He actually gets the kill on Freiburg. You almost might as well try and do that. Like, if you're that close to the smoke.
Yeah, no, it's your best opportunity, really, isn't it? Like, the longer you wait, the guy on the bomb train who's planning is going to be off it. He's going to be able to assist Freiburg. So you just have to take your chance at that point. But these weapon runs are going the way of Heroic really fast at this point. And if you're not able to set up a defense, and this time they're not letting go of Pop immediately, but as you said, it's the duo push out from A main that just destroys them almost right off the bat. Even though Minizet is able to find 1 frag, you've already allowed for Heroic to eke out onto the yard area with 4 players.
Nice peek from S-Tag, the kind of dry peek that we like to see sometimes.
Knows that the likelihood of him going up against Scout or an op is very unlikely. Takes the risk, and Rubino's going to follow up on that with 2 frags on his own. Sign does have a CZ, but looks in the wrong direction initially. Does find Nico before he's taken out, but it's only going to do so much. 1v4 situation. Glow's going to have to do something really special to make this work.
Yeah, at least if you get somehow steal a rifle, maybe the one that Nico's dropped. I think that's the best case scenario right now.
Yeah.
Doing damage to Heroic doesn't really matter. It's the 14th round, so you just want to bring a rifle into the next round, which I don't think is even going to happen. So
yeah, no, it's in between all the bomb trains. Really, it's rough to get there. Now tagged out to 1 HP as well. Maybe he can land the lucky 1 dig and escape from Ivy. Oh, he does land the 1 dig, but
that was simultaneously.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. 9-5, and moving into the 15th round. Heroic have really turned this in their favor, and maybe some of the concerns you were having then about MVP playing on Train started to slip back in.
Yeah, I mean they were finding success with a double pop setup, then they went away from it a couple of times. I'm all for the fact that they're trying things out, but at least make Heroic earn it on your end. Like have them actually crush the defense that you've set up, the defensive plan that you've made, and then work on it from there on out. We haven't seen a double pop setup for quite some time, and that is a bit of a worry for me. They do have a fair bit of utility. This time it's going to be Glow playing that inner bomb site, not solo with the op.
Freiburg making noise down here. So aware of the possibilities. Look at how much he's reading it. Almost takes down Sign, but was a bit softened up from the initial aggression. Sign is actually going to be falling back in towards B. That might be a good call at the moment because there's going to be a lot of action coming this way. He goes down immediately. Rubino just needed 1 bullet. Glow is in there. The Molotov is again pretty good, but it doesn't really matter. S-Tag up on top, able to clear up Mini Setter, and he's ready for solo as well in case it comes in. That's a great finish to the round, and 10-5 in favor of Heroic as they close out the first half, and they're well on their way to taking this series now.
They are, and I think the key issue really throughout the entire CT side is that Seth got caught out so much. Like he couldn't win a single 1v1 duel, and at that point you need to recognize that early if you're MVP. Like take a timeout, maybe midway through the first half to figure out what the actual, I guess, the trap that Heroic are setting is, and then adjust to it. Because even in that situation, you have Zeph playing up by E-Box, and to be fair, like Sinus played that position as well. It's not an uncommon spot by any means. But there's nobody around him. Zine is playing from Sniper, so he doesn't really necessarily have an angle to help him out a lot of the times when Freiburg moves out, either from A main or if somebody else goes out of pop.
Almost catching someone behind that one. Seth's going to try and plant the bomb, but Moddy's boosted up. He actually still can't see him somehow inside of the smoke. Oh, the bomb will go down, but Freiburg still gets the kill. See if that's enough here for MVP. Sign is going to be sneaking in behind, and that kind of a play might be great. Rubino catches it perfectly again. We've seen this from Heroic before. They're so aware of the possibilities of these kind of flanks. Smoke going to go up for the defuse, and now they're inside, holding it down. 2 more seconds, and they'll have it. And they can't get the angle either. It's a good attempt for Solo. I think he does actually tag somebody, but they're still going to lose the round, and that will be 11-5.
Yeah, not optimal for MVP right there. It seems like they just put all their eggs in one basket. They wanted to get the bomb plant down. They were perfectly happy just spamming through the smoke. Obviously, the wraparound from Zine is meant to do a whole lot more than what it did.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it. Heroic throughout the series has been just very aware of the possibility of seeing any sort of flanks coming in. So not leaving their positions for quite some time.
Well, this is going to put them quite far behind. Like they're in a deep hole right now on the Korean side. They have no armor or anything here, so it's not a big surprise if they're going to get chewed up. And they're going to be buying in the next round, you have to assume.
Yeah, no, they kind of have to start this, set into motion this comeback rather early on because they're going to have so few opportunities to actually have buy rounds with the deficit they find themselves at right now. Zeph and Glow, opposite sides of the map. Zeph just hoping to draw some attention towards Pop Dog to allow for Glow to potentially get closer, which has already been spotted out. That's the bomb as well. So that gets communicated to the rest of the Heroic side from Rubino. And now all they have to do is wait.
Trying their very best, but ultimately not going to find that much success in this round. And with Heroic about to be at 12-5, and just a brilliant start for them here on Train. Even when MVP were winning the rounds and it was like a 4-4,
yeah,
that was still a great position for Heroic to be in.
Absolutely.
But how did they win like the first 3 in a row in MVP?
Yeah,
at the beginning. So like in the first half.
They won the first 3 buy round. Oh,
yeah, the first
buy round, then the second rebuy, I guess, from Heroic, and then the 1 eco following that.
So they had a 3-round streak at the beginning of the first half, and that I think that made it look like, oh, there's real possibility here.
Yeah,
but they didn't really turn out that way.
They had that 1 round right where Heroic go towards the inner bomb site. You have the exchange between Glow and Modi.
Yeah.
That ends up being in a 1v2 that Nico wins out. Like, that could have been a big swing round for MVP as well. So they've been within reach, I guess. They've had their chances to make their mark on the game, but Heroic just overall have been playing as a better team this game.
Well, let's see how it turns out now. They have rifles, and as you said, they seem to be of the opinion that they can play this map pretty well. The T side sometimes will be the place where that happens. Molotov goes down to the sidewalk. That's an enormous amount of damage put into the T side. And even if they're getting the kills here, they are kind of a little bit low on health. And as you see the follow-up there from Nico, perfect play with the FAMAS. Long range coming in with the Rubino. That M4A4 to shut down Solo, 13-5.
Yeah. It's a cool idea, though. Like, Solo's set up in Brown Halls to do not a granny toss, but the mid-level throw with the grenade as a bit of a pop flash for anyone playing close up. And you basically, the whole idea behind it is obviously to be able to get in there and actually get onto the bomb site and move forward before any of the utility is down from the CT side. And if they decide to put it down, then you hope that you catch people off with a grenade in their hand, something like that. And they do get frags and trades, somewhat decently to start things off, but the rotations from Heroic are so quick in that it doesn't really pan out. If that's a solo B setup, that's just the easiest bomb take for MVP ever. And they're still going to have like some utility to spare as well for the afterplan as well, because they use so little to actually take it. It's a cool idea, but Nico just doing a really, really solid job to stay alive and pick up a multi-kill.
Modi, slight off angle. Could be dangerous, except for the fact that they just don't have any armor or anything to do anything with, so can even do that and just be fine. Yeah, now S tags as well.
Like, even though they have a significant lead, they have the significant weaponry and everything, they're still just playing this as safely as they possibly could. Like, Modi's not overextending, Rubino picking out for information and bails out what's shooting him. And you said, okay, not a lot you can do with that.
He lined that up so perfectly as well.
Yeah. Reminds me of what we saw Simple do on Overpass, right? Yeah. Versus Envious. Just knows his angles perfectly through the smoke.
That was well done. But it doesn't unfortunately change the fact.
Doesn't let them around.
14-5 is the current scoreline. Heroic 2 rounds away. I feel like it'd be fitting if MVP could win one more round and we could have another 16-6.
It would be nice, right? And they will have an opportunity to get one more buy round in here. So this is where they're going to have to make their stand. Right now, though, a bit of a change-up is the fact that S-Attack does have an op on his side now. So that's an added element to be wary of.
It's not like Heroic have an enormous amount of money in this round anyway, so there's a chance for some sort of spiral that could happen in MVP's favor, although S-Tag sneaking in and taking down Seth is not the beginning they needed.
Seth has just had a really, really rough game.
Yeah.
Just wrong place, wrong time in so many instances. Him being one of the, honestly, the best performer on the side of MVP. At the international tournaments they've been to, he can't really afford to have an off game like this. So what does MVP do now?
It's hard to handle, isn't it? I mean, especially if you start to think about the fact that you are having an off game,
Yeah. Plays into your head for sure. And even though, like, Zeph has experience, like, there's no doubt about that. But again, it's a different game. They've not been playing CSGO for 6 years, as Duncan mentioned on the desk. It's like, there's still adjustments needing to be made. They don't necessarily have 15 years of tournament experience. They just have a significant amount of experience from a short period of time.
Yeah. Modi and S-Tag have been lowered a little bit on health. A bit of a fake being thrown in towards the B-bomb side. A lot of grenades being put out. Let's see if they're going to be able to manage this 3-way crunch towards the A-bomb side, which seems like what we're looking at. And actually, they've managed to draw out Heroic quite a bit. Taking up position, Freiburg going to pick the 1 kill, but they lose Rubino in the exchange, and S-Tag going to pick up the 1 shot there. Modi just waiting, just covering the bomb planter, Glow all alone, and that's a really big problem. 7 health left, and this was their big chance. It's not going to work out. S-Tag will take him down. I think they knew he was low already, and that will be 15-5.
Yeah. They do get a bomb plant, though, so you were talking about potentially getting to 6. They will have an okay buy going into what is match point for Heroic.
Yeah, this has been a very, very good performance. So Heroic looking decent on Mirage and Train. Cash, a little bit of a different scenario.
It's one for the, I guess, forget me book.
Yes, just want to leave that alone.
Yeah, I guess on the opposite side, that same can be said for MVP. Obviously, you want to keep in mind what you were able to do on Cash. I think they need to work on their vetoes though, because I've yet to see a convincing Train performance out of them. So even if they don't feel too great about, you know, let's say playing Overpass or something to that effect, or even Dust 2. Like, I feel like that's one of the things these Asian teams should do. They should have been on that Dust 2 train from the get-go. Yeah. That's like where they could get like a massive upper hand. You could either force out a veto to give you a bit more of leeway versus more experienced teams, but Train is just not doing anything for them. Maybe
it'll come one day, but right now, Rubino's already gone down. It's just Glow left. Modi even taking out Solo, so whatever chances they had, they're done. 16-5, Freiburg getting last kill. And it will be Heroic winning the best of 3 in a 2-1 fashion. So just had a bit of a stumbling block there on Cash. Yeah, they made it afterwards. And that's going to be, I think, having this kind of strong start in the tournament for Heroic, they're going to be super excited.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, it's something to be said for like coming in with a new lineup. Yeah. Because, again, this is a new lineup. Rubino's finally back in the team after playing with Croman at the Pro League Finals. So, yeah, no, for them to getting off to a good start, even though it's not the world beaters that they obviously would have liked to take the scalp off of, but it's a start.
They're going to get the chance to do that later on. We'll see what the desk has to say and what they think about the overall performance here of Heroic and MVP. Please, Paul, take it away for us.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. And Azam Vendetta will come back to them, of course, for our second series. But Thorin and Sean Garris here to wrap up the first series, a series which both of them predicted would be a 2-1. They even predicted every single map. It's almost like they know what they're talking about.
Nailed it.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Even if we get predictions wrong, I think we all should agree that we know what we're talking about and should still be paid and hired.
Let's just remember this one series.
But this one, yeah, we nailed it completely. We knew exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, it went to the script all the way through from the first map to the second map. It was weird. We were looking at the statistics as well for the first game, and unusually, perhaps, for a winning team, Heroic all positive KD, the other team all negative, and then it completely switched around on the second game. Why was it so different like that?
Well, I mean, first of all, the Heroic team definitely had their issues on Cash. I mean, funnily enough, Sean tweeted about this, actually. There was one round we watched that looked amazing. They actually had, like, a really, really good split. And then you were like, wow, I can't wait to see. Oh, they're all literally everyone died with no kills. So it's like, if anything, that kind of shows you how the day was going on Cash Death. That doesn't work whatsoever. Sadly, I have to say, overall, the MVP team, a bit of a confusing team. Like, they looked very lost on some of these maps. This map in particular, I just saw them like re-peeking in the same angle over and over again. The Heroic team, once they started running away with the game, seemed insanely confident. Like, they were just hitting everything. They didn't fear to take any peek whatsoever. And, yeah, I mean, listen, good performance to get a map, but not convincing for the series.
Yeah, and there was a lot of parallels between like Mirage and Train, in my opinion. There was early fights from MVP, and then you saw Heroic basically instill fear by playing super aggressive. On Mirage, you saw Armadi peeking upper B, you know, taking those gunfights. And what that does is later on in the half, it forces a rotate always to the B bomb site. And then you saw them do so many of what I call the Cloud9 A split through connector, where they pop flash through that connector smoke. That worked so well for Heroic at the end of Mirage. And then here on Train, more the same, you know. There was a point somewhere through the first half where they're like, let's just take gunfights, do 3-on-1 splits constantly. So go 3 up Ivy, 3 out mid, 3 inside right here. And they would, you know, have the 1-1s kind of play a little bit aggressive for information and rotates. And they just started winning every single gunfight on both of those maps.
Can we carry on calling him Maraudy from now on?
Maraudy?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
no,
that's what Sean, it was Modi.
Modi
on Mirage.
Yeah.
Modi on Mirage.
Yeah.
Okay. I just stayed silent now because I was like, I don't really know what he's talking about, to be honest. So, I don't know who that is. Is that like a manager or something? What's going on?
Maraudy, we'll stick with that. Notable performances, Sean, though. Glow, in particular.
Yeah. No, I thought Glow played really well. Secondary opping on Mirage and then carried it into the second map. I thought he played really well. Obviously, you can't really play too well when you get 16-5.
Yeah.
The scores get a little bit lopsided, but I thought it was pretty good performance by him, actually.
Yeah, and the other side, Rubinho obviously gets plenty of stick over the years for poor performances here and there, but he's had a decent series here.
This is a good example of where it's the context of your role, because the thing is, Rubino was playing as like the support player in North. So basically, he's sort of the person who's supposed to kind of take the beating and not be in a good position and set someone else up to get all the kills that you remember. So every time you were saying, "Oh, what a great game by Magus and Cajun," what you really mean is thanks to Rubino for a great game from Magus and Cajun. So the difference is in this team, he seems a lot more freed up. Obviously, there aren't really the big names in this team. He's actually one of the big names, and so I think, you've seen he's had his time off for whatever reason, but I think he's a pretty good player. So I know because they had Croman as a stand-in, because at the moment he's doing big things elsewhere in other teams. He's still a very young player. Rubino is the player I would want. He's a veteran, he's an all-round player, and so against lesser opponents, I would expect he's going to have a good game. Yeah,
and he certainly did have a good game. Overall, I mean, you said MVP were a little bit disjointed at times, looked a little bit lost. How do they progress out of this group? What are they going to change?
I honestly think just playing a lot is what they need. From watching them, they have the fundamental and executes to win a round, but you can tell they haven't experienced players, that fight back on those executes. Right. They're used to dry running in a server or against people that, don't drop a unexpected smoke on the B-bomb site somewhere, and they don't know what to do when that happens. So really the only solution is to keep playing and adapt over time.
Okay, and as far as their opponents in this particular game, job done, obviously, but I guess they won't necessarily be happy at dropping a map.
No, and especially because I do think, actually, if you're one of the other teams in the group watching this series right now, you're going to have lots of questions about the heroic map pool. Like, you absolutely know that Virtus Pro, and especially the Tyloo team, love to play some Mirage. So that's going to be a battleground where they're going to have to play that there. They're going to have to actually show they're really good on it, whereas MVP kind of just rolled over after the first, 7 rounds or something. In terms of, obviously, Cache is a map that a lot of teams don't want to play. Traditionally, I think Tyloo actually plays that as well. I know VP doesn't like it as much, so there's definitely a few weaknesses that I think the other teams can look for, because as we outlined it in the preview, this is a pretty wide open group in terms of the names there, and there's not really any traditional form to say someone must get through.
Okay. MVP for this one. Sean, do you want to pick someone out for the series?
Well, there's 5 of them, isn't there? So.
Yeah, there was indeed 5 of them. I have to go Rubino. He played really well throughout the entire best of 3. He's still a support player when you watch them play. So for him to put up these numbers, has to be him, in my opinion.
And also, since we were talking about missing Semler, every time I see him, I feel like he's back. There he is.
He does have...
I'm so sick! Look at them tearing their heads off!
He does have some vague similarities.
Duncan and I were talking about it right when the best of 3 went live. Yeah, he looks a lot like Semler.
That looks pretty baller, that graphic, I can't lie. I mean, it also does look like they did lose to Thanos, and he's basically slowly being ripped away. So we'll get you back, Semler. I mean, Rubino. Mr. Anders, I don't feel so good.
There we go then. MVP for this particular match and series is Semler.
MVP always in my heart, right?
Of course. Yeah, just slightly below existence.
I'm just sad that Moses had to kill his career.
Right. How?
Make him go to Overwatch.
Oh, is that how he did it?
Yeah.
How did he do that? Is he Thanos?
He's just some sort of mad mastermind behind the scenes, isn't he? Well, he is in a way, but he did end up having to go to an event in Brazil, so is he really?
And with that, it's time to move on very swiftly. We've got our second series just around the corner. Some more legends involved in this one as Virtus Pro try and pick up some pace here and perhaps put themselves in a position to make the top 4 at the very least. We'll see what they can do after the break.